Me and my boyfriend had planned to go on a camping trip. He told me a few days before, and I couldn't wait for the trip. On Saturday morning, we packed out stuff and left early in the morning. It was going to be a long drive, and later, we had to hike for a couple of minutes. I wanted to sleep during the drive, as my boyfriend was the one driving, but I was also feeling bad because I wanted to give him company as well. I kept asking the name of the place so I could search it on Google, but he was keeping it a surprise and didn't want me to find out till we got there. I was curious the whole time and kept asking him how much longer and teasing me. He told me that the place was beautiful and totally worth it, so I was just waiting for us to get there. It was taking way too long, and I had started to feel hungry, so I asked him, "Can we eat something?" "We'll be there soon. We can eat when we set the camp up," replied Kevin, my boyfriend. "Okay, I can wait till then," I replied. Finally, we parked our car in a parking lot and started hiking. "How much further is it?" I asked, panting heavily. "Just a little way up," said Kevin, my boyfriend. He had always been an outdoors person, and this summer, he persuaded me to camping with him. And here we were. "This should be fine. Let's pitch the tent," he said, looking around, surveying the area. I was just glad that we had stopped just before the dense woods started. "Damn, I'm so hungry. I'd tell my grandma for a Tic Tac," I said, as I pulled out a can of soup when we were finally done and sat inside the tent. Suddenly, we heard some footsteps and froze right there. "Stay here," he told me, and picking up his gun, he went to have a look. A few minutes passed. "Babe," I called out, fear creeping up in my heart. "Come back." I heard footsteps and was thankful to see him walking his way back. "Nothing," he said. "Must have been an animal, a curious raccoon or something." We went to sleep after we ate and started a fire as to keep the animals away. I woke up in the middle of the night to see that Kevin wasn't by my side. I became worried and put on my jacket, deciding to look for him. I looked around, switching on my flashlight. He was nowhere to be seen. Maybe he just needed to go. I'm sure he'll be around. Suddenly, something crackled under my foot, and I stepped aside. Beaming my flashlight on it, I saw that it looked like a bone. I tipped it over with the tip of my foot and was horrified when I saw that it was none other than a human skull. The dark hollows where eyes might have been scared the shit out of me. "Kevin!" I shouted and ran back towards the tent. "Kevin!" I shrieked at the top of my lungs because I was frightened out of my wits. I came to where our tent was and saw that there was light inside. Apparently, Kevin had returned, for I could see his shadow on the tent walls. I breathed a sigh of relief and composed myself before I went inside. "Veronica, what's wrong?" came the urgent voice behind me. I turned around and saw that it was Kevin. But, I stammered. "Then whose?" I pointed at the tent, and he saw the shadow too. The shadow neared the tent flaps, and we saw him unzip it. The person stepped outside. He was wearing a mask that looked as if it was made from flesh. He was horrible to look at. He raised his hand, in which he held a severed human arm. He bit into it and munched on the flesh. We stood there frozen in horror. I suddenly remembered the human bones that I had seen. "Kevin, run!" I screamed, and we both shot off at top speed, leaving whatever we had behind us. We did not look back. We heard running footsteps, as if someone were chasing us. We kept running and running, and then we had thought that we had outrun whoever it was, and then we started walking back to our car. Finally, we reached our car and got inside. Kevin started the car, and as soon as he saw in the rear mirror, he screamed, and I turned around and saw a man with an axe full of blood in his hands. I screamed out loud with all my energy.